Hi friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today's video is going to be my monthly favorites. These are all of the things that I loved last month in the month of January. That feels weird to say. It's still January. I think it'll be like the 31st when I upload this or something like that, but we're at the end of January, so I'm gonna chat about the things that stood out to me. I have some makeup, hair care, TV shows, food, books, all sorts of things, just a plethora of things. I have a bag actually, just random stuff that I'm excited to talk about and share with you. I always love doing this little roundup. I love chatting about the things that stood out to me. I love hearing what stood out to you, whether it was like makeup you tried, a food you ate. I love hearing what your favorites from the month were. Before we get into it, I did of course film this look. It should already be up on my Instagram and YouTube shorts by the time this video goes up. As far as my accessories go, I believe these used to be plugs from Love Kills Boutique that I turned into earrings, and this is just an old basic choker. So without further ado, let's just hop in and chat about all of my favorite things from January. Let's start with makeup. That always seems like a good place to start, and we will go in the order that I do my makeup. So we'll start with some complexion. This one is actually a very recent discovery, but I'm already just so in love with it. The formula, the color, it's all very good. But this is one of the new Rare Beauty liquid contours. They came out with like a new liquid contour product, and this is the one that I'm using. It's the shade Gentle. I've used it a good bit over this last week, and I'm just loving it. This color is so good on my fair skin. It looks very much like a shadow. It doesn't look too warm, but it's also not too gray, because I also don't want it to look like overly gray. It's just a really good kind of neutral tone. It's so pretty, blends out like a dream. The liquid blushes from Rare Beauty are one of my favorite products of all time. So a liquid contour version in a very similar formula is definitely really wonderful. I've been loving using this lately. I think it's a great product. Definitely a standout, because it's one of those types of products where I really don't need any new bronzers or contour products right now, but that one I was like, that's gonna be a formula I love, and I definitely do. Moving on to blush, I have a few blushes. First being another Rare Beauty liquid blush. They came out with a new shade, Souvenir, and I love it. It is so pretty, just like a gorgeous kind of like interesting kind of burnt red sort of shade. It's a little corally, a little reddish. It's very cool. Very much kind of like a sunburn sort of shade. It's very pretty. I have a strong feeling this is gonna be a big go-to as we go into like spring and summer. Not that we're anywhere near that. I'm embracing the cold. It doesn't get that cold here in Florida, but I'm embracing it while I have it before it gets ungodly hot. But yeah, this is beautiful. I love this shade. I love this formula. Always excited to add a new shade into my collection. Simply Posh also came out with 3 liquid blushes alongside of their Snow Angel collection, and I have been loving these. They are so pretty, so creamy and blendable. This one's the shade Frosty, a cutie, kind of soft pink shade. Very pretty, but these are just so creamy, so blendable. Similar sort of formula to the Rare Beauty ones. I feel like it's maybe slightly thicker, but not by much. It's very similar, but that's a really cute shade. I also have rosy cheeks right here. This one's like a very pale pink. I feel like it pairs really well with the other pink. I kind of like to mix them together. It's very cute. I don't really have pinks quite this light and bright in my collection. And last is the one I'm actually wearing today. I do have a powder paired with it, but this is the liquid that I'm wearing. This is Berry Cold. Super cute shade. I feel like it's kind of similar to Souvenir actually, but maybe a little bit more brownish, orangey-ish. It's very cute. So I've been really happy with these. I'm such a blush fiend. It is my favorite part of makeup outside of eyeshadow, so those definitely made me happy this month. The Dexter liquid highlighter in collaboration with Lethal Cosmetics is insane. This is in the shade Luminol. This is so good. This is by far my favorite liquid highlighter I've ever used. It is so bold, so brilliant. Look how shiny and sparkly this is. Are you kidding me? It is so reflective, so beaming. One of my like nitpicky things with cream and liquid highlighters is that I feel like a lot of the time they're just so subtle, and I'm like, I need a little more impact. This is impact. Like, it is beaming. This is like, you can see it from outer space. It's just so cool. If you like a very intense, bright, colorful, shifty, sparkly highlighter, but you want it in a liquid version, this is gonna be your favorite thing in the world. It's so So cool. I actually really hope Lethal Cosmetics continues to do more with this formula in the future because this is amazing. Moving on to eyeshadow now. I actually tried a lot of really good eyeshadow lately. I feel like brands have already started out with a bang for this year, but I'm just going to talk about my top 3. I actually just recently posted a recent ranking my last 12 palettes. So if you want to see all of my thoughts on everything I've tried recently this month, you can check out that video, but in no particular order, I'm just going to talk about my top 3 for the month. First is what I'm wearing right now. This is the Bitten palette from Gourmande Girls. I am so excited. This is so pretty. A very vampire spooky take on a Valentine's palette, and it's just so beautiful, so incredible. These shimmers are so good. Like, look how shiny my lids look. Are you kidding me? The mattes are beautiful. Probably my favorite palette Gourmande Girls has ever done. It just screams to my soul. I love these berry tones and purples. It is just so pretty. Their formulas are incredible. This theming is everything to me. I'm very pleased with this. Next, going back to the Dexter theming, the Dexter and Lethal Cosmetics palette is also just incredible. The packaging, it looks like the trophy case for his blood slides. It's just incredible. It opens up like this, and we have just a really pretty kind of gradient of like red tones into sort of purpley grayscale. So beautiful, absolutely incredible. The mattes are so pigmented and bold, and the shimmers are out of this world sparkly. The blood splatter shade in the middle is just everything. I'm just so impressed with this. Lethal just keeps getting better and better and better. I'm a huge fan of Dexter, and this just, it's a match made in heaven. I'm so thrilled with this. I'm so beyond happy that this exists. Like, this is an actual work of art. Last palette I'm going to talk about is the Lovers palette from Cosmic Brushes. This is so cool. I'm excited about this. Again, I love a Valentine's theme. This is a tarot card theme with the Lovers card. It's just everything that I needed. This is one of my favorite brands ever, and I'm so excited to see a new palette. This is such a beautiful color story. I love kind of the dusty purples, the sagey greens, the soft blues, these like warm orangey sort of tones. It's just so pretty, so pretty. I'm really happy with this. I love the way it's kind of broken up. Like, you really can kind of see it into like 4 quadrants. You can also kind of divide it half warm, half cool. Everything plays together so nicely. I love their formulas, everything from the shifty multi-chromes to the regular shimmer metallics. It's all so just show-stopping on the lids. The mattes are so easy to work with, so pigmented and so blendable. And I just get so excited about this brand. So really happy about this palette. And even though this one is laid out more vertically, it's still a 20 pan palette like their other one. So you could like put it on its side and it would match perfectly. But yeah, that has been a great treat. That is it for makeup. Let's move on to hair care. I actually meant to talk about this last month and then just totally forgot. But I remembered this time. I put it on my list so I would not forget. This is a treatment for like when you're in the shower. This is the Joico Defy Damage in a Flash 7-second Bond Builder. This is incredible. I'm a big fan of Joico. I'm a big fan of the Defy Damage line. I use it on myself. I use it on my clients in my salon studio. I just love this. I kind of picked this up on a whim, like maybe 2-ish months ago or so. And I started using it and fell in love with it. It is so amazing. I use this all the time on myself and my clients. It is a very like liquidy treatment. I don't want to like waste it, but I'll show you kind of a little bit. It comes out very like drippy liquidy like that. I only took like a tiny amount, but it's very like watery liquidy. And honestly, a little goes a long way. You don't need a ton. And it really just like melts into the hair and feels so slick and glassy. I always shampoo the hair first, and then sometimes I go in with conditioner and then this. Sometimes I layer this on top of conditioner. Sometimes I just go in with this. Kind of just depends on how I'm feeling, but you run it through the hair when you're at the step to use this. Literally only needs to sit in the hair for 7 seconds, so it's not like a treatment you have to leave on your hair for a long time. When you rinse it out, your hair just feels so silky and so glassy. And it's amazing. I wouldn't recommend putting this directly on the roots. It's definitely meant for your ends, but this is so good. So good. I try to remember to shout out hair care things that I'm loving here and there because it is like my day job. My life does revolve around hair. I don't like doing exclusive hair videos, although I have done a couple hair styling tutorials on myself on my vlog channel. So if hair interests you at all, go check out my second channel. It's in my description box. I've done a couple styling related things. But all that to say is I do hang on to my favorite things for a long time. I feel like I'm not trying that many new things because when I love something, I love it so hard and that's all I want to use. But every so often I just get the random urge to try something new. And this is one of the ones that I recently tried that blew me away. It is so, so good. Moving on into more of the fashion part of the video, I just had to shout out the bag from Unearthly Cosmetics. I have a little keychain lip gloss from Sigma that they sent me for the holidays. That's not part of this, but the bag from Unearthly is so good. We have the chain, there's the spikes on the sides. I personally swapped out my strap to be the crossbody strap, but it did come with another strap as well. And I think that strap had spikes on it too. Very, very cute. I'm just not as much of a shoulder bag person. I like a crossbody or a tote. But this recently replaced my tote for me because I just love it. It's so cute, matches everything I wear. I wear so much black. I do like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love just like a crew neck and leggings or a t-shirt and leggings, but I also love a very like more edgy style, an alternative sort of style. I like a witchy vibe, but this matches everything, honestly. It's so good. And even though it's like not the biggest bag, I feel like I can fit a lot in this. Like I have my full-sized wallet, I have sunglasses, I have lip product, I have hand sanitizer, lotion, lint roller, snacks. I have so many things in this bag at any given moment, and I just love it. I just had to shout it out. I believe they also came out with this in like a darker, like burgundy wine sort of shade. So pretty, but I've been so pleased with this. I'm so glad the brand sent this to me because it's been my new go-to. It's perfection. Continuing on, let's talk about my favorite books for the month. I do have 2 5 stars so far. There's still a couple more days left in the month, so that could change. But as of this moment, I do have 2 5-star reads that I want to talk about. I'm not going to drone on and on about any more books beyond that because very soon after this video will be my reading wrap up Get Ready With Me, where I do non-spoiler chats about all of the books I read in the previous month. So stay tuned for that if you like books. Or if you just want to hear me yap while I do my makeup, that'll be coming soon. But both were books that I read on my Kindle. One was through Kindle Unlimited, one was through the Libby app through my local library. The first one through my local library on the Libby app was Not in My Book. This was so good. This was a recommendation from my friend Christina. She is Chrissy's Paperback on Instagram if you want to follow a cute little Booksta account. This was just so wonderful. So we have our main character, Rosie. She is a romance writer in a creative writing course, and she is always butting heads with her rival, borderline enemy, honestly. His name is Oden. He's constantly belittling her for the genre that she writes. Eventually, their fighting just gets out of hand, and their professor basically tells them, you're either kicked out of this class or you need to team up together and write a book together. Basically with her romance style, but with a sad ending that his style usually gravitates toward. Over time, they start to develop more of a friendship. They start getting a lot closer, sharing deeper things with each other. We do get little excerpts of the book that they're writing, like in between all the chapters. At first, they were very repetitive because they were basically writing the story of themselves, of how the two characters didn't like each other, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, this is boring. I don't need these excerpts. But it very much turned into, this was the way they opened up to each other. Like as they were writing their various parts in the book, it was very much them talking to each other on a deeper level. It ended up being really sweet. I love getting to know these characters more and more, especially Oden because he starts out very closed off. There was so much yearning and slow build with the friendship into the more romantic attraction. And the writing itself was just so fast paced and I got so sucked in. I just felt like I was there. It took place in New York City. I love New York City with my entire soul, so I just loved being there. I felt like I could visualize everything. It was just perfect vibes. I loved it so much. I was so pleased with it from beginning to end. And the next book I read through Kindle Unlimited on my Kindle was Mile High. This is the first book in the Windy City series. They're like sports romance books. I'm not a sports person at all, but I don't mind a sports romance. I've dabbled in them here and there, like with hockey romances and stuff. I don't really mind it. I feel like it's because like the point of the book is never the sports. Like I never have to know what the sports even are to like enjoy it because it's just kind of a side thing. It's just that usually one of the main characters is involved in a sport. But anyways, I have heard great things about this series overall, but I heard that the first one, Mile High, was horrible. I've heard so many people say they hated it, but loved the rest of the series. So I went into this one with very low expectations and I freaking loved it. I don't know how I interpreted this book so much differently than other people, but it just goes to show we all have different tastes. And maybe it's because I went into it with very low expectations that it ended up blowing me away. I loved it. I loved it so much. And I'm so excited to continue diving into the rest of the books in the series over the next few months. So basically this sports romance features a like sort of bad boy National Hockey League player, Xanders. And the female main character is the flight attendant for this team's plane. Her name is Stevie. Right from the get-go, they are just constantly butting heads and getting on each other's nerves. He loves trying to like get a rise out of her, and she just can't stand him. She doesn't like his attitude. She doesn't like that bad boy persona. She's kind of sworn herself off of dating athletes. His reputation of always like having a new girl is just not something she's interested in. Like, she wants to be so far removed from this. It's like not even something she's entertaining. After multiple instances of them just happening to run into each other at various like restaurants, outings, things like that, when they're not even in like work mode, they start to like form a little bit more of a acquaintanceship into a friendship. They start to talk more, they start to banter more, they start to really enjoy getting on each other's nerves because it becomes more of a playful thing. Lines are starting to blur and they're like forgetting why they ever hated each other in the first place. But there is an underlying predicament here because they are not allowed to see each other. It's like forbidden because she works for the team. So it's like a whole thing. I just ate this up. I loved it so much. He is not the typical male main character that I enjoy in books. I usually enjoy very much the like sweet golden retriever energy, but I don't know. I really enjoyed this guy. Very much like, I don't know if morally gray is completely like a good term for him, but he very much is that like bad boy reputation kind of thing. But I don't know, there were just so many more layers to him. I loved the way they like grew and interacted together. I loved getting to know them so much more as individuals and like together. It was just great. The writing style sucked me in so much and I can't wait to read more. So those were my 2 5 stars so far for the month. Again, I might have another by the time this month ends in the next like couple days, but if so, I will talk about that in the reading wrap up. Get ready with me. But I'm happy that I even had 2 5 stars this month because that's great. I feel like I've had a great reading month so far. Let's talk about some food. I've mentioned this a couple times, but at the end of December, I found out I have a wheat allergy. I took an allergy test with my doctor and I have a wheat allergy. So that's great. I don't have full-on celiac disease or anything like that. It's not life-threatening as of this moment, but it is something I need to avoid. My doctor advised me to go gluten-free. It has made me feel a lot better. I feel like my stomach hasn't been aching all the time like it was before, and I just learned to get used to, and I feel like my skin's been clearing up. There were times that I was breaking out in hives. It was a whole thing, but I've been feeling better, and I just wanted to shout out some of my favorite gluten-free finds so far. This won't appeal to everyone, but I feel like, I don't know, some of you might also have gluten issues or know somebody who does, so I wanted to shout out some of my favorite things. As a general rule, I really have just been eating, you know, a lot of rice bowls, veggies, fruits, things like that, beans, things that are safe, but some of the more, you know, quick snacky options that I've been enjoying are the gluten-free Oreos are so good. Why do they taste better than regular Oreos? I don't even know. Same with the gluten-free Chips Ahoy. I swear they taste better. They taste better than regular, and I'm not even just saying that because I'm in denial, because I've tried some things that I don't love, like gluten-free buns and bread that I've tried so far. It leaves a lot to be desired. I've mostly just been not eating things that involve bread very much because it's been a letdown. But gluten-free Oreos and Chips Ahoy, so yummy. Zane and I were already like big fans of the Freschetta frozen pizzas. Like if we were gonna eat a frozen pizza, Freschetta is the way to go for us. It's just so good. They make a gluten-free one and it just tastes like the yummiest, like crispy thin crust pizza. Like I couldn't even really tell a difference other than the fact that the crust isn't thick, you know? I recently started trying some of the feel-good little frozen foods. Like I tried some like pizza rolls, mac and cheese bites, stuff like that. They're not like amazing. Like they're not exactly the same level of good as like traditional, you know, frozen pizza rolls and stuff like that, but they work. I'm happy to have the option. The Sweet Lawrence cookie dough, so good. So good. I just tried a flavor recently. It was like chocolate chip salted caramel or something. It was so hard not to eat all of them, the entire dozen in one sitting. Like just so tasty, so yummy. But yeah, again, I've been eating a lot of just like, you know, basic whole foods, especially being vegetarian and now gluten-free. It's a whole thing. Not the easiest thing in the world, but it could be worse. There's a lot of options out there. And I just wanted to shout out some of the more like fun snacky foods because it's okay to have fun snacky foods too. But I'm always happy to hear some recommendations if you are also in the gluten-free life. I've joined many a Facebook group relating to gluten-free stuff, so I've been getting a lot of tips from there. Thankfully, I was already eating things like Banza pasta prior to being gluten-free just because I like the taste of it, so that's been great. I haven't really had to have a big change with pasta and stuff like that, but it's just been inconvenient. But it's not the worst thing. I'll get used to it with time. And last, I figured I could shout out some TV show favorites that I've been enjoying. I literally have a running list of what I've watched and I'm gonna shout out my favorites. Honestly, I think my top favorite show that I watched this month was season 2 of Squid Game. So good. I feel like Squid Game is one of those shows that is not going to appeal to everyone. It's pretty brutal, a little gruesome, very heavy. It's not like a happy, lighthearted show by any means. You have to know what you're getting into with it. You gotta be cool with some violence. But season 2, honestly, was so good. I felt like the way season 1 ended, the show could have just been done. We didn't really need any more. And then when I heard that a season 2 was even coming out, I was kind of like, why? I don't want that. I don't need that. And I didn't even watch it immediately when it first came out. I waited a few weeks, mostly just because I was busy with holiday festivities, but got around to watching it, and man, it was so good. I feel like it was just as good as season 1. Like, I'm honestly having trouble deciding which season I liked more. It follows up so well. It adds so many more layers and mystery involved. It leaves on such a cliffhanger. I'm already itching for season 3. I think it's supposed to come out sometime later this year. I don't remember exactly when or if they've even said, but wow. As someone who didn't even want a season 2, I can't believe how good it was. So that was great. So yeah, I think that about says it all for this roundup of favorites from January. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do we share any similar favorites? What are the things that stood out to you in the month of January? Again, whether it's like, you know, skincare, makeup, food, a show you watched, a song you heard, I would love to hear it all. If you made it to the end of this video, leave your current favorite emoji, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Helps my channel out a lot. If you're not already, you can hop over to Instagram and follow me over there. It is BATTYBEAN there as well. Also, if you want to, you can hop over to my second channel. It's in my description box if you want some additional content. And also, you can join my channel memberships. Link to sign up will be down below. There's a couple different tiers with a couple different perks, and I would love to have you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.